Hello, everyone. Last time I came on live for one of these mini workshops in my Celebrate for Self-Love series. I was in the south of France. Today I'm in Vienna. I'm in a hotel room. It's raining outside. Otherwise, I would have taken you out into the city with me. Later today, I'm going to be in the Czech Republic, and then I think this weekend we'll be in Paris. Then I'll be back in New York. But I wanted to hop on today really quickly before I go back out in exploring Europe to bring you the next video of the Celebrate for Self-Love series. Last time I talked about my journey. I talked about how I was able to cultivate self-love even through years of really not loving my body and having a really fraught relationship with food. I shared, a lot of my personal stories about the really big turning points for me. And then I also shared how you can win a free spot in my upcoming Healthy for the Holidays program. So today we're going to talk about binge eating and why self-control is a myth and how to overcome feeling out of control with food. Because so often I have women and clients come to me and they're like, I'm going to try to remember this verbatim if I can. But one of my clients said, it's too hard to listen to my body. It's easier to listen to my mind. There's something to that effect. And I so get it. Like when your mind is saying, oh, I really want to eat that, or it tastes so good, or, I want to eat more, even if you're full, or even if it's not serving your body, that can be a really tricky situation to move through. So we're going to talk all about how to move through that today and how to cultivate a better relationship with food and a better relationship to your body so that you don't end up in those situations of feeling guilty, feeling shameful about your food choices, feeling insecure around eating around other people, and just feeling out of control with food. The truth is that when we use food as a way to cope with our emotions, it's really just a defense mechanism that we created for ourselves when we were young, and there's nothing wrong with it. And food is so pleasurable. I just did a post about this on Instagram yesterday. Food brings us so much joy, and it's such a blessing to be able to experience that. And that's just the human experience. So I think that for a lot of us, if we are lacking something in our lives, especially when we're young, if we're lacking love from somewhere or attention or understanding, we'll turn to feeling good. That's natural, and food makes us feel good. And that is how our species survives, is through feeling good around food and experiencing joy through eating. So there's nothing wrong with that. If you are somebody who is an emotional eater, you don't have to feel bad. Like, this is a really smart skill that you've developed for yourself. But now you have the opportunity to come up with new coping mechanisms so that you don't feel any of the guilt or remorse after you've coped with your emotions through food, because it really is just a Band-Aid. It's not going to get to the root cause. So my first tip is, if you are an emotional eater and you find that you turn to food when you're feeling stressed or tired, anxious, overwhelmed, so on and so forth, I've so been there, ask yourself the following 3 questions. Question number 1, what am I trying to soothe? And my client that I was previously talking about, who was saying it's so hard to listen to my body when I want to listen to my mind. The hardest thing about this whole practice is remembering to ask yourself the question and putting in the work to ask yourself the question. You can ask yourself a question, and in the long run, it is so much harder to not process your emotions healthfully, to not love your body, right? So ask yourself the question, what am I trying to soothe? Be honest with yourself. Know that it's going to be okay. Have grace with yourself. Have love and compassion for yourself. What am I trying to soothe? Question number 2, what are 3 other ways I can soothe this emotion? So if you're hungry, of course, eat. But this is kind of for the situation where you're not hungry and or maybe you've already eaten and you're full, but you still want to self-soothe with food. So what are 3 other ways I can soothe my body? And literally, I use this all the time. I did this last night. We're in Vienna, so we went to this amazing Viennese restaurant. I had, oh my God, it was so good. I had pumpkin dumplings and salad, and then the the waiter at the restaurant, he might be the owner as well. It was a really small spot. We weren't going to order dessert, and he was like, "No sweets." He was so he was so appalled. And then he brought us these like little plum dumpling things that were just over this moon to die for. And then I came back to the hotel room and I was like, I really want chocolate. And I'm in the habit of eating dark chocolate after most dinners just because I love dark chocolate. But I recognize a lot of the time that it is habitual. So I have to be really honest with myself when I've already had a dessert, when I've had a really satisfying meal that I really enjoyed. I thought to myself, what am I trying to soothe? And I realized I was tired. And I realized I was kind of stressed out because I've, been traveling a lot, and I'm wanting to serve you and be here for you on this platform too. And all wonderful things. Like, I'm so, so grateful. Doesn't mean that I don't have little anxieties in my mind. So I realized I was trying to self-soothe with chocolate. So I use these questions. So the first, to recap, what am I trying to soothe? What are 3 other ways I can soothe it? I took a shower, got really cozy into bed last night, watched some TV with my husband, and went to bed, and it was perfect. And then the question number 3 is, how do I feel now? So you do the 3 other things that you can do to soothe your emotions, and then ask yourself, how do I feel now? And this is why you have to ask the 3rd question too, is because then you train your mind to look for things other than food to soothe you. Does that make sense? So this is all about reparenting yourself and reestablishing your coping mechanisms. And that's why these things are so effective in your relationship to food, is because we are emotional eaters. And so when we're out of control with food, when we're eating more than we need, we're gaining excess weight, we're experiencing terrible side effects, like I talked about in my previous life, all of the symptoms I was experiencing from not being in tune with my body. It's because of our relationship to food, right? So if you have a healthier relationship with food, then you're able to make choices that are healthier for you. That's why this work it works. That's why it's so effective, and 95+% of diets fail. Like, would you take a pill with an only 5% success rate? No, you would not. So why would you go on a diet? There's no need to put yourself through that stress. Instead, you can follow these kinds of protocols: intuitive eating, integrative nutrition. I wrap everything up into the self-love lifestyle, and it really allows you to live your life in a way where you're nourishing your body and your soul. It's about finding balance between indulging and enjoying and finding that pleasure with food in your body, while also honoring your body with care. And there's absolutely a way to do it. So, okay, all about binging, especially around holiday parties. I know it can be challenging because a lot of us, if you're like me, perhaps you've like saved up your calories for a holiday meal, or you've been like really good so that you can eat a lot at the holiday meal. And the problem with this mentality is it's like an all or nothing type of thing. And then you overeat at the holiday party. So a really simple fix is to nourish yourself before you go to your holiday parties and gatherings or wherever you're going. If you are like, there's nothing wrong with being aware that you're going to have a meal and, like not eating too much before that. Like, that's obviously fine. What I'm talking about is like starving yourself before you go to a party. There was one Thanksgiving, I didn't eat for like 2 days before Thanksgiving. And when Thanksgiving came, I was so hungry I couldn't even enjoy the food, which is so sad. And I don't live my life that way anymore. So and you don't have to live your life that way either. You can nourish your body and enjoy your food. And if you're concerned about weight loss and weight gain and all of that stuff, I will say this: if you are putting yourself through a caloric deficiency, then you are going to slow down your metabolism. You're going to put your body into what is called famine mode, where your body is actually going to become more obsessed with food because it doesn't know that you're limiting your food intake by choice. You have a physiological response that comes up when you do this, when you limit your caloric intake. And it's really important, if you are concerned about weight loss, to keep your metabolism at its healthy state, right? And to do that, eating smaller meals throughout the day is really effective for a lot of people. Moving your body is really effective for a lot of people, but not starving, especially for women. I think, there's a lot of people who are really into intermittent fasting now, and if your body thrives that way, that's absolutely fine. But for women, our hormones are so up and down throughout the month that intermittent fasting actually will deregulate our hormones and will kind of put us in a state of panic. So if you want resources on any of the things that I'm referencing, just send me a message and I'll send you links to studies and articles. But it's really important that you nourish your body continually. So don't starve yourself before the holiday meals. Just make sure that you're nourishing your body with care. And what I really love to think about as a bridge, because for a lot of us, if we've been stuck in dieting, we need a little bit of a bridge. We can't just go right into intuitive eating. The bridge that I love is the 80-20 lifestyle, and I talk about this a lot. And I don't want to go too deep in it today, but 80-20 really means that 80% of the time you choose body-nourishing foods. So these are the foods that make you feel energized, that make you feel healthy, that are really nourishing to your body, nutrient-dense foods, all of that good stuff. And then the soul-nourishing foods are the things like your family recipes that, probably have a lot of butter or sugar or whatever in them that, you wouldn't normally eat. Because if you did, you would feel kind of like heavy and, weighed down, and your digestive system would all that stuff. So, but it brings you joy. Like last night, this meal I was already talking about here in Vienna, pumpkin dumplings, so good. If I ate those every day, though, I know my body would start to, my digestive system wouldn't be as effective, and I would probably gain weight. I would feel really bloated, but it was soul nourishing, so I have no guilt about it. And because I looked at it as soul nourishing, my body was able to assimilate more of the nutrients because there wasn't the anxiety around it. When you eat with anxiety, you actually are assimilating less nutrients because that energy is going to your fight or flight system instead of to your digestive system. Yeah. So just make sure that you follow the 80-20 if you're really concerned about it. 80% of the time, nourish yourself with body-nourishing foods, 20% of the time, soul-nourishing foods. I don't recommend writing this down. I don't like writing down what you're eating. I don't recommend calculating it. Just have that in your mind. And if it doesn't nourish your body and it doesn't nourish your soul, then there's really no point for you to eat it. And that also makes it really easy if you get a piece of dessert or anything because you think you should because it's the holidays and you're like, you know what, this isn't nourishing my soul. This isn't nourishing my body. Then that gives you permission to not eat it, which I think is also a really great thing to remember. A lot of the times we eat things because we feel we should or because people tell us to. And remember, you are in control of your body and what you're eating. If it doesn't nourish your body, it doesn't nourish your soul, let it go. The other thing that I want to mention is that I have my notes here. So if you're concerned about what you have to eat at a holiday party, bring your own dish. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's think of the 80-20 as a Venn diagram. So you have your 20% soul nourishing foods, 80% body nourishing foods, and then there should be an overlap. And the more and more you get into these practices, the more of an overlap there will be, because you're going to start to crave the foods that are body nourishing because you're more in tune with your body and they're going to taste even better. So find that overlap in the Venn diagram. I'm like drawing in the air here. So your body and soul nourishing foods, those are the foods that you should focus on in this season, or all seasons, but especially this season, and bring your own dish to holiday celebrations that's in that area for you. For me, that's roasted sweet potatoes. Oh my God, I love them so much, with maybe some like lightly candied pecans. So good. So bring your own dish. It's absolutely fine. And then you'll know that there's something for you there where you don't have to eat foods that you don't want to eat. And you know that there's going to be something body nourishing for you, so that you're taking care of your body even in the midst of festive feasting. And if you do overeat, if you do end up binging, know that it's okay. Start with self-forgiveness. I have a whole roadmap, a step-by-step system for finding self-love, and self-forgiveness is the first step. So forgive yourself and know that you are doing the best you can do with the information that you have. And your job is now to just take responsibility for what happened, not through guilt and shame, but just accept that it happened, and then move on. Don't starve yourself the next day. Eat normally, nourish your body, come up with different ways that you can nourish your body outside of eating. So maybe you can, it's not an all or nothing situation. So maybe you can drink more water that day, or get some more sleep, or take a long walk, or, it's overeating doesn't mean that you have failed as a person. And this is really the problem that so many of us have who are self-classified emotional eaters, binge eaters, all of that is we think that our self-worth is attached to what we're eating. We think our self-worth is attached to what we weigh, and it's not true. And you can reestablish your sense of self-worth through cultivating self-love. And when you detach your self-worth from what you're eating and what you look like, it really transforms your whole life. So I can't recommend that enough. The problem with having these rules around food of like, this food is bad or this food is good, is that you're telling your mind two things. The first thing is that sense of self-worth, that your self-worth is linked to whether you're being good or bad. I hear all the time. I mean, this morning I was in a cafe and I heard a woman say, oh, I really want one of those, I don't know, she was talking about one of the delicious Viennese baked goods. Vienna's famous for its baked goods. And she's like, but I'm going to be good. And to me, I hear in that situation, like, so because you're saying no to being present in the moment and enjoying yourself, that means you're being a better person. That doesn't make sense, but it's not her fault. This is a condition. I used to say that all the time. I have family members that say that. I have friends that say that. It's not her fault. It's not your fault. It's the conditioning that has been put upon us. But your worth is not tethered to the food that you're eating. Know this. And if you want to be a good person, nourish your body and nourish your soul. But it's not good or bad. Food just is. The second thing that you're telling your mind in these situations is that there's a limit surrounding the food you can eat. And so your brain goes into a state of panic because you're fighting against your innate human nature to have food. And when you limit your access to food, even by choice, your body doesn't know it's by choice. So your body sends signals to your brain to turn on that fight or flight mode. And because this food is how our species survives, it's basic human instinct, we always want to know that we have access to food. So limiting your access to food by saying, oh, I can't have that because it's bad, it's going to actually make you want it more. I'm sure you've experienced this. We see this all the time in children and even in ourselves of like, because you think it's bad, it's not, it becomes more interesting, right? We want what we can't have. And I know this might be scary. A lot of people, when I say these things, like specifically this idea of allowing yourself access to foods that have traditionally been, quote, seen as bad. A lot of people think like, oh, but I'm going to overeat, I'm going to gain weight, I'm not going to be able to control my body, I'm not going to be able to control my food. But you're not controlling your food now if you're putting it into those categories. And you don't have to have that relationship with food. I get it. Giving up the control with food is super scary. And we think we're going to eat everything in sight, but the opposite happens. all the time, I hear from my clients that they lose weight without even trying. I actually have a quote right here from one of my clients, Ryan. She said, "I was able to remove things from my life that I knew weren't serving me anymore, as well as actually lose some weight. It was amazing because I felt like I wasn't trying to lose weight, nor did I care about how much I lost when it finally did. It wasn't about the numbers on the scale for me anymore. It became about being healthy and also being happier." I mean, it's pretty amazing because what I hear in that is that her body is settling into the place where she's known that it should always be. You know, if she's felt like she weighed too much, her body is settling into its healthiest, happiest weight, which is what she always wanted, but she's doing it without even trying it. And she's focusing instead on being healthier and happier, which I would rather be healthier and happier than be on a diet my whole life. The statistics around dieting are just crazy. As I mentioned, 95+% of diets fail. The average woman spends 17 years of her life on a diet. That's 17 years of like saying no to delicious food, no to the pleasure of life. Life is so short. You should be able to enjoy these things. And thousands of dollars. I think it's somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 is what the average woman spends on dieting products alone. So save yourself the money, save yourself the heartache, save yourself the pain, heal your relationship to your body and food, and experience the joy of what it means to be an intuitive eater and to live the self-love lifestyle. So if this was really valuable for you, I would love to know. You can send me a message, you can post about this on Instagram, tag me, and if you want to go deeper into these practices and really be able to handle the holiday season with ease and health and confidence and radiance without any of that diet drama, then you should definitely sign up for the Healthy for the Holidays program. You can find the link in my bio. You can also go to melaniemonaco.com. And the Healthy for the Holidays program is 6 weeks. It starts November 11th. And goes to the end of the year. And then you have twice weekly coaching calls with me. You don't have to attend all of them. It just is me being present for you. And then you also have a private Facebook group with all of the other women in the program. And then you also have a step-by-step guide. And the step-by-step guide is a systematic approach that I've created to healing the relationships we have with our bodies and food. And it is just so transformational. So you have the guide. We implement all we learn in the guide through the accountability that we receive in the coaching sessions, the individualized support from me, and then you also have that wonderful support from the Facebook group where you can connect with other women who are experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. And if you struggle with people in your family or friends commenting on your body around the holiday season, this is going to be really good for you. If you struggle with all of that anxiety around food around the holiday season, this is going to be good for you. If you feel like every New Year's you set the resolution to lose weight and it never happens, this is for you. Like, this is going to change the game for you. And this program starts at just $4 a day. So while you're in the program, there's 2 payment options. You can pay in full and save 10%, but you can also do a payment plan, and the payments are every 3 weeks. And when you break it down, it's just $4 a day. That's your matcha latte with way more health benefits. So definitely take a look at the page. You can read all about it, melaniemonaco.com, or the link in my bio. And I'd love to see you inside the program. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm going to be coming on live a few more times before the program ends, but before the program closes. So the doors are open until November 11th. So if you want to sign up now. Like, get it done. Just say yes to yourself. This is the best gift you can give yourself and your loved ones, because when you're your best self, you're able to be your best self for the people that you love. That's the best gift you can give them. So if you want to give your loved ones and yourself something incredible and transformational, this is it. I would love to see you in the program. Let me know if you have any questions. melaniemonaco.com for more information. And I will see you soon for another mini workshop in the Celebrate with Self-Love series. All right. Mwah. I'll see you soon.